Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well. Today I'm going to be filming a video showing you how I use this template that I have made that is specifically for 12 by 12 paper. First of all, I will start by showing you how to actually put the template together. Quick word on the template itself. It is available on Patreon, it's available on Ko-fi and Etsy also. Patreon members, you get this for free. Everybody else, obviously the details will all be on the listing for you. And yeah, I'll just jump straight into showing you how to put this template together. When you download your template, you will receive written instructions, so you will have written and this video instruction as well, so hopefully this will all make sense for you. So you just want to start by literally cutting your template out. You do want to cut around the entire template and include where I've indicated there are dotted lines. You want to cut those as well. So you want to have a flap on piece 1 and no flap on piece 2. Once each piece is cut and looks like this, place piece 1 onto your desk face up. Now you can either choose to use double-sided tape, glue or sellotape, but you just want to stick piece 2 on top of piece 1 right where the dotted lines are, so they line up exactly. I'm just using sellotape because I find it easiest. You could, like I say, you could glue it or you could use double-sided tape instead if you wanted to. So you just want to make sure that they are nice and straight, and you also want to glue or sellotape the back just so that it doesn't get stuck on anything. It doesn't get caught on anything when you're trying to use the template. I just find it easier to do that. And that is literally all you need to do to get your template put together. This is how it should look when you are completely finished. Piece 1 should be underneath piece 2 and taped or glued together. So let's get on with it. So now that you have your template together, you can start to make the items that you want to make. So what I'll do is I'll just show you basically, when I tell you I have filmed this video 20 times, I really do mean I filmed this video 20 times, and honestly every time it just messed up and I either done something wrong, which I'll show you in this one here, I done it wrong, or I just lost my mojo completely, which is what happened here. So yeah, it's been an absolute nightmare this week. We had a lovely holiday, we had a lovely break, and then I think I tried to come back and I tried to do everything at once. I tried to get up to date on orders, I tried to film videos, I tried to do all of my social media, and it was too much. So I thought, no, wait till the weekend and then we can get ourselves sorted. So I made this template because obviously you would have seen my post about the 12 by 12 paper packs that I bought whilst on holiday. So, and I kind of thought, oh, I don't know actually what I'm going to do with them. And I wanted something where if I had a sheet, I could use that entire sheet and not have any scraps, because, yeah, scraps are just annoying at the moment, aren't they? So this one was the prototype. It was the first one I ever made. So that, obviously, bearing in mind this is the shape of the template, just bear that in mind, obviously, because each of these are different. So we started with this one, and obviously I didn't decorate it because it was just a prototype, but you can glue it onto a journal page, onto a journal cover, or it can slot into a pocket, anything like that, or you can just send it to somebody as Happy Mail, whatever you want to do with it. You'll see that there's multiple uses for it. So this one just opens out like this, and this is literally just the template as is and put together as is, basic as. I used all of the cardstock to make some journal tags. Obviously this little circle piece here I turned into a pocket. This is just a flap that you could use for journaling, or even as like a closure. You could have it as, you could put little either a brad or a velcro dot on there, and that could be a closure. Just done some decorative on the what do you call them, envelope flap side. And then on the inside we have a pocket here and a pocket here as well. So that was utilising every single scrap of paper that came off of the 12 by 12, and I was happy with how that turned out. It doesn't matter which way you close it, you can have it whatever way you want. That was how I chose to go for it, and if obviously I decorated it, it would have looked a bit better. So that's how I started. I then moved on and made the obvious. I made an envelope. So I just done the exact same, but instead of cutting out, sorry, bear with me, instead of cutting out this circular piece here, I drew around my template. I didn't draw around this piece, and then I just flipped my page and drew around this piece again, so I ended up with 2 squares either side, and then that's how I've made this envelope here. And obviously I've done the same as well for this piece and this piece. Instead of doing the triangular piece, I flipped it over and done this twice, and that has given me this piece here, which has made my envelope base, and then my envelope flap also. And then I just decorated it again using the scraps. I made a pocket for the front, stuffed it with some ephemera. Obviously that is a envelope in there as well, so that can actually be used. And on the back I again used up the last of the papers and just added 2 pockets here and filled them with ephemera also. So a basic envelope. Then we move on to this one, and I don't know why, but this is one of my favourites. I don't know why. Again, I didn't decorate it too much, it was just a prototype to see if it would work. I used the circular flap piece here as just a little bit of a decoration. It's not useful in any way, it's just a bit of decor for the back of the folio. And then the front of it, I used, instead of using the 2 square pieces, I used the 2 envelope flap pieces to make this kind of shape. I added some ivory cardstock here, so this can be used as a journaling spot, or you can stamp on it just to decorate it, anything like that. I used the square piece that's on the bottom of the template. I just popped a little circle template, a circle cutter here, and made that into a pocket. And then all of the scraps I turned into journal cards and tacks, and obviously just added in that ivory cardstock just so that it matches, and I turned this little one here into a pocket. So I totally used up absolutely every single piece of scrap. There wasn't anything left. Well, there was like tiny little slivers of something of the 12 by 12 left over, but yeah, I used it all, absolutely used it all. And again, that could just be a pocket. You could glue this onto a page, and then this top piece could also be a pocket as well. There's so many possibilities. Moving on, I then made this one. I used a little bow maker here with a little brad in the centre just to be my closure for this one. So again, I just used the envelope flap piece and decorated the inside. This piece was originally this area here. No, sorry, I lie, it was this area here, and then I've just folded this in half. And at the time I thought I was being clever and I made it into a pocket, but it's at such an awkward angle and it's at such a weird, it's just not usable, so I wouldn't recommend that. Maybe you could turn these side pieces into a pocket, but I don't know. I think if I had the chance to, well, I will have the chance to do it again, and I think what I would do is just mimic like the top piece here, just add a decorative panel in the centre there. I done the same thing where I flipped the template so that I had 2 squares instead of the circular option, and then this just opens out and reveals some journaling spots. So you've got this large one here. This piece here is actually an A6 sized piece of card, and it fits inside this folio perfectly. I just rounded the corners, cut these down to size, and stuck them on the flaps also. So it's just a great little journaling spot. You could have also put pockets in here. You could have put pockets on this as well. you can just take it to any level that you want to take it. Again, I did leave the decoration quite blank for this one, just left it with the bow there and plain on the back. Now, these two are the reason why I'm filming this video, because this is the one that I made. I apologise if you can hear Nelly barking in the background. She's barking at birds in the garden. So this is what I made as a prototype, and I wanted to, just realised it wasn't closed properly, I wanted to replicate this on a video. So I sat down, I got all of my bits out, and I made this. But I was in such a weird mood that I made something completely different to this, and I have no idea why. I wanted to copy this exactly, to show you exactly how to make this, and I ended up making this. So I'll show you this one first. So this is the template and 2 sheets of 12 by 12 cardstock. The other ones that I've just shown you are all 1 sheet of 12 by 12. This will need 2, and you'll see why in a sec. So I just decorated the cover with some vintage book page, some twine, bits and pieces like that, a Velcro dot to keep that shut, some plain paper on this inside flap. This can also be used as journaling spot as well, so it worked out quite well just for decoration and then usefulness. So when we open up the inside, you'll start to see why you now need 2 sheets of 12 by 12. So I was halfway through making it and I realised that I'd made it wrong. I realised that these weren't meant to be here. I was meant to have the 2 squares at the top. Yeah, these weren't meant to be here, so I didn't end up doing anything with these, but I was just using them as kind of like ephemera to keep them in its place. So that it doesn't all fall out. So there's always a use for the flaps. I could have cut them off, but I kind of felt like it was better to keep them on and keep my ephemera in place. So we've got the 2 matching envelope flaps on the side here. Then this side has, so you'll see this piece here is 1 template, and then this is template 2. And I stuck them together using this flap here, and then turned it into a pocket. And then this side I have a pocket here, and on top of the pocket another pocket with some tags in. Then when we flip it over, we've got a journaling spot here, a pocket that I've made from that flap that is also here, and stuffed that with ephemera also. But the original was not anything like this. My idea for the original was, I don't know what happened, I just didn't do it. But yeah, I think it turned out just as nice. Can still be used, it's still functional, so I thought I'd just show it to you. But this one is the one that I made to begin with, and you might be able to see a bit clearer now because the patterns are so different. You'll be able to see which is 1 sheet and which is 2 sheets. So we have the cover here. Then when we flip over, I ended up using this flap as like a closure, and it just opens up here. But the problem that you have is that then you've got this random piece that just kind of opens, and when I handed it to my daughter that way, and said, oh, look at what I've made, she went to open it and she was like, oh okay, oh right. So it didn't quite make sense. So I will change that when I show you how to make this. I'll end up just doing it like that, and then with a Velcro dot on the inside rather than on the outside. But yeah, anyway, that doesn't matter. So again, I used the template and I cut it out twice, and I flipped the template so that I have 2 squares on the bottom. Don't worry, I'm going to show you how to do it exactly. And I ended up with this little beauty, and I'm really happy with this one. I really like how this one turned out. So it's full of loads of ephemera and places for you to store things. Then I also included some journaling spots. So this one here is just ivory paper, and I've just folded it so it gives you a little bit more room to write or journal or anything like that. Then this page here has a pocket with ephemera on. This flap has pocket, this flap has pocket. This is where I joined the two pieces together and then turned that into a pocket. Obviously I could have also added a pocket here, but I decided to leave that blank for now. And then there is an extra journaling space there. Then when we come down to the bottom, I was going to make these into pockets that kind of stay up like that, but I changed my mind and I thought I'll have them fold out and then have a double pocket on each side. So it's just full of pockets and tags and ephemera and completely full. And I'm super happy with how it turned out. And this is the project that I'm going to show you how to make with this template. And I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. I will just show you quickly. This was when I started to lose my mojo. So these two here, these are the two envelopes that I've made, and then this is all of your scraps. So this is what you're left with after you've cut out your template. So you can see there is just so much. I could not throw it away, but I really couldn't keep it either, and that's why I just utilised it inside of the folio itself. So you get a hell of a lot of scrap that you can use inside to decorate or to make journal tags, anything like that. And these ones I was just experimenting with different ways that we could use them in our journals. I'm not sure where I was going with this one. I think I was going to put ribbon around this piece like that and have a closure there, and then this opens to be journaling space. I think that's where I was going with that, and then on the back you would have like a pocket with ephemera in, but I wasn't really sure about this. I didn't know whether to cut it off or maybe use it on the other side, but then it looked a bit odd. So I wasn't 100% sure. Maybe if I do come back and utilise these and actually make something with them, I will show you what I ended up making with them. But I just wanted to show you can experiment and you can do your own bits and pieces. So this one here, I made this into, so these two flaps here are pockets on the back. And then this piece kind of looks like an envelope. And then I've just made it so that when you open it out, you've got a nice large journaling area, and at the bottom there is a pocket. Again, I could have cut off these little flaps here and not had them at all. That would have obviously left me with a lot more scraps to make whatever it is that I want to make out of it. I'm happy with this one. It's just the other one I'm not quite sure what direction I'm going in. But anyway, enough rambling. Let us get on with making the folio. Okay, so you want to start with your two pieces of 12 by 12. I just have this, oh, and they do ideally need to be double-sided. You obviously see I use double-sided throughout. If I hadn't, I'm not sure they would have turned out as nice. So this is double-sided, and you just want to take your paper and place your template wherever you like it. I like to use these straight edges provided by the pad itself as kind of like a rough guide of where I am. So I just line this one up here and then this one down the bottom. I'm hoping that that is going to fit in. I just line it up like that and then line it up there also, and then draw around the template. Now for this one, we don't want to include the semicircle. We want to ignore that. So we will draw a line here and we'll draw around our envelope flap here like so, and this piece will be drawn around also here and here. And then instead of this circular piece, we're going to flip our template like so. Try and get it lined up as best you can, and then just simply draw around the template again. So now you have the two squares instead of the circle. Obviously if you want the circle, by all means keep the circle, and instead of doing what I've done, just draw around the template as is. Or you could have double circles. Or if you really wanted to, you don't have to have this piece. You could flip it over and have 2 square pieces. It's totally up to you, but for this tutorial, this is how I'm going to do it. So I'll just cut this out. So obviously you want to cut that out twice, so I cut this one out previously, so we now have our 2 pieces. Now the template, when I first made it, I did actually round the corner, but then it didn't line up properly, so I had to redo the template, and I ended up leaving it as a triangle. And I thought, well, if I leave it as a triangle, you can keep the point if you want to, or you can grab your corner muncher and just cut off that corner, which is what I'm going to do now. You could also ink all of your edges. I did ink on a lot of my edges on the other ones, but it's just very time consuming, and the mood I'm in, I think I need to keep this short and sweet. So once it's all cut out, then you just want to fold your template. So I always start with these 2 shorter pieces here. You can use your scoreboard if you feel more comfortable, but I just eye it. I don't do anything too precise, as we all know by now. And just then fold in these 2 pieces like so. Obviously trying to get them as straight as possible, but it's not always guaranteed with me. But it just goes to show that it doesn't have to be perfect. So then this one is going to go in the opposite direction, unless of course you wanted both of your pieces to have this decor on it, but I don't know, I just like to have the difference of each side being a different pattern. So I'll just fold this piece in as well. I mean, they look pretty cool as they are, don't they? Just as normal envelopes, they look really lovely. So you could even just stop there and leave them as envelopes, couldn't you? But we are not going to. We are going to continue on and make our little folio. So this is where you need to join your pieces together, just like so. Before joining them, you do want to cut down. Well, you don't have to, actually. If you don't want to, you could glue these 2 pieces together as is and not have a pocket. Should we do that? Should we just try and make it a little bit different to this one? So this one has the pocket on there, you'll see, and then a plain piece on there. Yeah, so let's just glue this together like so and have it completely different. Let's go for it. Let's do it. Let me just sort my glue out first. Okay, so you just want to take your one piece and pop some glue. My glue decided to explode on me, so I've got a big dollop there. Just glue this entire flap. Make sure you've got a lot down this bottom piece because you don't want it coming open. And then just place your other piece, your secondary piece. I don't know if I've done glue close enough to the edge there. Why would I do that? Then I'm just going to have an exposed edge. Like so. Okay. And then this can just go on here. Like that. And make sure your folds are obviously in the same place. Like so. And then I just bring it up and just make sure that all my corners are met nice and straight. And I'll just use my little spreader here just to make sure that all the glue gets to where it needs to go. There we go. So now we have, oh, a little bit wonky there, so let me just trim that. Okay, so there we have it. There is our little folio. all put together. You could leave it like that, you don't have to do anything if you don't want to, but of course I am going to. So the idea of this one is that it's going to fold up like this and close like that. So yes, so this is going to be the front cover. Then I'll put a Velcro dot here so that that keeps it all closed. Then I think I will put, I don't know if I want to do the fold out option again, or if I just want to put a sheet here of, and then here we could have some pockets. And what did I do on the inside of this one? Ah, right, okay, so this one, this side has a pocket and this side has the journaling. So maybe we could, should we just copy that completely? Yeah, I'm going to copy that. I'm going to put the pocket here so that we can store things here and then journal on this side. So let's start with the pockets, shall we? Okay, so from your pile of scraps that you now have, you just want to choose 2 random pieces, and you're essentially just going to turn these into pockets. You're going to tidy them up and turn them into pockets. So this larger piece I'm going to put here like so. So you can obviously see that's my fold line there, so I don't want it right up against the bottom there. So it will kind of sit like this, but I'm not keen on this pointy bit, so I'll just chop that off, and I will then straighten this piece here also. So let me just get my cutting board. Going to use my Memory Keepers board today because my other one is just too huge to get out. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to chop off the top of this pocket. I don't want too much off of it. I think about that will do. That will then give me a straight line that I can place against the top and then even out that area. And just making sure it is actually straight, like so. And then just cut off that little wonky piece there. So you'll see this is what we're going to end up with, is scraps of this size. So that is our newly formed pocket there. I am just going to round off my corners just because it's a style that I prefer. So that's the larger pocket. And then this is going to be the smaller pocket, which would sit on top like this. So as you can see, I probably need to kind of cut down the middle there, don't I, to make it a bit slanted. So if I cut the same there, if I cut that very top piece off, just to give me the same style, and then this at an angle like so, and then straighten that bottom piece up there, and there we have it. There is the second pocket. Hopefully that is going to fit. I might need to cut, yeah, just need to cut a tiny piece off of the edges. I don't want to lose that little bit of detail there, so I'm just going to trim a really tiny piece off there, and then a piece off that end. So that should look a bit better. Perfect. Okay, so let's just round our corner, and that is then our double layered pocket. Beautiful. And that will then sit in there like so. How lovely is that? Then we want to make the pockets. So again, just grab your scraps, which are here, and you just want to play around with, so that one, obviously that's going to fit perfectly. I'll just straighten up the edges. Then this piece here, I just want to find the matching piece to this, really, which is that one. So now I have these two, which are both going to sit on here like so. So let's just tidy these up, get them nice and straight again. So all I'm doing is just kind of taking it to where this edge is here and just trimming off that wonky piece basically, and then repeating. God, I love this cutter, but it's so annoying that these they go down so well that I can't just lift them up easily. And I'll just make sure that this piece is definitely straight. Yep, it is. And then I just want to, I don't want this to be a slanted one, I want it to be straight. So if we kind of take it to just above that little petal there, we'll go there. I bet you all love how precise I am. And that is the pocket for down there. Perfect. Okay, and then we'll just do the same with this piece. And there we have our two base pockets. Now we want to place pockets on the top of those, just like this one here. So you'll see I've got double pocket. And I'm wondering, can I be really thrifty and use, oh go on, I've got to really, haven't I? Because it's just perfect, I don't need to do anything to them. So there's my pockets for the bottom pieces, so I'll just put those two to the side with that pocket. And we now want pockets for our envelope flaps. Now the best way that I found to do this was to actually bring the template back, or you could just use your actual piece, but I'm just going to use the template. And grabbing the, I think this is the last of the scrap. It is, isn't it? No, it's not. That's also scrap. That's a pocket. That's scrap. All of this is now rubbish, just little slithers that we've trimmed off. So we're left with these 4 pieces. And somehow we want to make a pocket out of these, don't we? So I'm not sure how we're going to do that, if I'm honest with you. I can't remember how I done it. Did I use it that way? I think I did. Yeah, I think I used it like, kind of like that. I used that slant there. That's it. Okay, so if I just grab that and flip that over, we're going to use the slanted piece here and line that up like so, making sure all of it is covered. So we'll just draw around this template piece here. Now obviously I do want these to be smaller than the flap itself, so instead of cutting right on the line, I'm going to come in a little bit so that I can give myself a bit of a border on each side. So you'll see I've come in just a little bit there, and then I'm going to do the same over on this side. And obviously I am hoping and praying that it is going to be straight. So let's just test this piece. If I put that on there like so, so it is still a little bit too big, so if I just centre that, obviously, as much as possible, trace around here, and then I'm actually going to cut on the line on this one, and then that should be the perfect size. Oh, brilliant. All I now need to do is just chomp off my corners like so. And now is the decision, do I want to leave it as just a decorative piece, or do I want to turn it into a pocket? Decisions, decisions. Let's get the other one cut out and then we'll make the decision. Okay, so we've done that now, and we have our two pieces. I think I'd like to keep them as pockets, but because I am going to keep them as pockets, I do want to just trim it down just a little bit, just to give me a little bit more room to actually put my pieces in, my ephemera or whatever it is I decide to keep there. Okay. Yeah, that's perfect. That's so much better. It kind of actually looks like a pocket now rather than a covering kind of thing. So that can go on our pocket pile. So I want to make my journaling spots. I'm going to use some ivory paper. It's just 80 GSM paper, nothing special. You can use whatever you want. You can use lined paper, just printer paper, whatever you want. Now, I think it fitted the A6 perfectly, didn't it? So what I want to do is, if I just fold all of this in, just to give me a little bit more room to work with, if I throw these strips away as well. Okay, so this is how I made my other fold out piece. There was no method, I was just being completely random with it. So you'll see I've just placed it onto the folio itself and just brought it in so that there's a little border around each edge. Then I'm going to fold this piece and just do the same, just make sure there's a border around this edge here, making sure obviously I've got it nice and straight also, which I think that is. There we go. And then I just fold this last piece back on itself like so. So essentially that is our journaling spot that is going to go here. It's just going to fit in just nicely there. And I just need to trim off that very top piece, so I'm just going to mark it there. Bring my board back in and just trim that down. There we go. So that is the fold out piece that we can journal on. So shall we start assembling? Oh, so this piece is going to sit in here like so, and on the other piece I just put a bit of I just put a circle so that you had something to pull, and I think I'm going to incorporate these. So I think I'm gonna go with Daisy, the purple daisy. I like the purple one, so we'll go with that one, and I'm just going to grab my circle punch and cut 2 circles. So I'll just pop that one on there like so, and then do the same on the other side. we go. Now we can glue this piece straight onto our folio. So whilst my glue is still wet, I'm just going to make sure that everything folds in okay and there's nothing overlapping, which there isn't, so that's perfect. And then we have our little pull-out journaling spot. So there's journaling spot number 1. I'm really unsure of what to do with these. I don't know whether to do fold outs or should I just pop this on there like that. I'll come back to that and I'll sort it out later. So we've got this side done. Let's work on this edge here, on this middle piece. So we'll just bring in our pockets that we made earlier. So this is our base pocket and this is our top pocket, like so. So we just want to glue this pocket down. So that is our pocket, and we can then stick that. We'll do it centrally. I was going to do it over there, but then we've got this big gap, so I think I'll do it centrally. And again, just glue the larger pocket now down 3 sides. And try and get that as central as possible. And there you have your pocket. Then let's stick down our pieces on the flaps. So what I'm thinking is, because these are kind of small and it may be mistaken for just a piece of decoration, I'm just going to use my circle punch and grab both of them at the same time, and that'll be the best option. Get them the same and just make a little, that's going to fly up, yay, just to give me a little tab punch there. And then I'll glue these onto the sides. So now we have our 2 pockets on the flaps. Then we can move on to our bottom pockets. Then we just need, so that was going to go that way with this on the top here as a secondary pocket. That's going to go on there. And then you are going to do the same thing, I think. You're going to go like that. And then you're going to go like that. Perfect. So let's just glue these pockets. So there are 2 bottom fold out pockets. Yeah, that's right, that way. So let's just, I think I'm also going to put the little circle hole on top of these pockets also. So just grab my punch, ready. Flies everywhere every time I do that. It just helps to show that there is actually a pocket there, it's not just a piece of decor. So we'll just glue these down. Okay, so that is that pretty much done. I'm happy with how that looks. So we can have this as a little cover piece here for the journaling spot. These fold in, these fold up. Actually, I want these to fold up like that, then that in like that. And then these 2 are the last to fold in because they're going to have a Velcro dot on them that then closes the entire thing. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Now, I'm going to turn this into a pocket. I know I said that I didn't like that idea, but I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do it. So, the same procedure basically, just tidying up this piece of cardstock here just to get it straight and more pocket-like. I'm only going to do the 1 pocket. I'm not going to double it up on this one. And then I'll just do the exact same as I've done before and just pop a little circle out of there. Now let's glue our pocket into place. Okay, so we have all of our pockets in place. Now we have our journaling spot. I'm just going to use some ivory paper and just cut around the larger, where's my pencil? The larger middle flap, which would be like so. And then again for the smaller flap, that will just give me a journaling spot. So let's cut this out. Again, like with the envelope flap sides, I want to come in a little bit and I want to have a border around the edge. So we're not going to cut on the line, we're going to cut inside the line all the way around. And now we can just glue those pieces in place. Okay, there we have all of our journaling spots done and dusted. And that is all of that done. So let's fold everything in. I wanted them to first, didn't I, like so. Then my two flaps, then these two pieces. So I need to put on my Velcro dots. There we go. Just glue them into place. So we have our pocket and our journaling space, our pockets, our pocket, pocket, pocket and a journaling space. Okay. Shall we decorate the front? Okay, so as I mentioned before, I have got these little embossed strips, which I would really like to use on the cover. So I'm just going to trim this down. Obviously, your decoration, you can do whatever it is that you fancy doing. I'm just going to use this strip, some book page. So I'm just going to rip the book page randomly. Like so. And put that underneath. Yep, I'm liking that. And I've got some, this is what I'm left with out of the 12 by 12 sheet. So do we think that I could utilise these in any way? Do we think we could possibly pop that under there, trim it up obviously, pop it under there and then have a little something there. Let's trim this down because I can see pencil lines there, so we'll just get rid of that and then trim the bottom. See how we're doing. Do we like that? Yeah, I think that looks pretty cool. Then I've just found this beautiful little sticker which I thought we could stick here, and I've got the word delightful on the bottom there. Then this area I'm of course going to make a bow. So we just make our bow, so I'm just going to pop that in there. We'll go for prong number 3. I'm just trying to straighten up my ribbon. So 1, 2 and 3. 1, 2 and 3. Come on, don't get stuck. Pop that through the centre hole, bring it back around and tie. Nice and tight. Try and spin that knot so that my ribbon is the right way around, like so. And then we have our pretty little bow that can sit up in that corner. Obviously I'll cut the tail off a little bit. So I'm going to stick all of this down, and I'm also just going to ink the edges of this. We're going to have this piece like so, this piece like this. Oh, the book page was meant to go in, wasn't it? So it's going to be a bit wonky there. Then this like so. So let's just dab a little bit of glue there just to hold that in place whilst I pick it up, and then I can glue the rest of it into place. Just going to cut this off just because we don't really need it. It can go in my scrap bin. So then that can sit there like so. This can come on top. Yep. So just pop some glue, making sure it's all going to fit on nicely. Then we have this beautiful sticker that we're going to stick there. So let me just take the backing off. And then we'll just pop this sticker like so. With our, I'm just going to ink that piece there, just there. And pop our delightful in the corner. Oh, flying delightful. There we go. Oh, the sticker just got stuck there. Okay, happy with how that looks. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this bow into place, and then I'll trim my tails. So if I glue this piece first, obviously, because that needs to go down into place. Just like so. And I can play about with my two loops here, pull them apart whilst it's stuck down. And then we just want to decide how long we actually want the tails. So I'm kind of thinking about, oh, I need my fabric scissors, but I don't think they're up here. There we go, they're sharper. And then this one can go the other way, like so. Oh, I done it the same way, didn't I? Twit. There we go. And then these two over here, just kind of do them similar. I'm not worried if they're shorter or longer or anything like that. Just adds to the charm. And there you have it, completely finished. I'm going to fill it with some ephemera, and then I'll show you what it looks like fully finished. Okay, so let's take a look inside so we can see our finished project. So we have our beautiful cover, that beautiful sticker on the front there, love it. Lovely little bow at the top. Then we have the inside. You could of course decorate these pieces as well. You could have journaling pieces, journaling cards on them, stickers, whatever you wanted to do really. Sorry, let me just move my foam maker out of the way, get everything else out of the way. Then we have our 2 flaps at the top. So I filled everything with ephemera just so you can see what it would look like, and I've also just decorated up some of the journaling spaces just with some stickers. Then our 2 side flaps are also stuffed with ephemera, and the bottom pockets, double pockets, are also stuffed with ephemera. And the middle pocket there as well, that obviously holds a lot more because it's a bit bigger, and then these little ones just hold like smaller sentiments. You can obviously put your photos, memorabilia, anything like that inside of there. I left this area plain. You could put a pocket on it, you could put journaling space, and again just added some stickers just to make it look pretty and to tie in the colours also. And then we have our journaling area there. So yeah, that is at least one way that we can use this template, and I will hopefully be back during the week with some more ideas to show you. I hope you enjoyed this one, everyone. Thanks for watching. Bye.